Today we've got a new gun for the channel. This is a Spikes Tactical Stern Defense 9mm AR build. Takes Glock mags. Last round bolt hold open. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. As you can tell from the intro, today we've got a new gun here. This is an AR-9 or a 9mm pistol caliber carbine build. And since I am currently building an Aero Precision EPC-9, it's obviously something I'm interested in. So I've got a different one. This is a Spikes Tactical lower with a Stern Defense upper. And it's a pretty cool build. So we got some experience with this today, and we're going to kind of compare and contrast it with what I'm putting together personally at the moment. Before we get started, I want to thank Kaylin for loaning me this for the video. I really do appreciate it, man. And I want to thank every one of you that has subscribed, liked, shared, or commented on my videos, and especially those of you that have used the Patreon link or the Amazon affiliate links. The more I can get that going, the more stuff we'll be able to afford to feature on the channel here. So thank you. So one of my favorite things about the AR-15 platform is just how versatile it is. You can really make it a ton of different calibers. So this is basically just an AR-15 pistol built in 9mm. And the thing is stupid accurate. Does it take Glock mags? Yes, it takes Glock mags. So this is a pretty interesting AR build. Like any AR build, or like a lot of them, it's put together with a bit of an amalgamation of parts. And because one of the greatest things about the AR-15 is how versatile it is and how modular it is and how you can literally put together any parts that are mil spec and build whatever you want out of it. So this has a Spikes Tactical lower, which is a dedicated 9mm lower. It's got a nice flared magazine well. It takes Glock mags. These are just 19 round Glock 19X mags. But this will take anything 27, 33 round, whatever Glock mags that you may have laying around if you are a Glock owner. Or not. A lot of people just have Glock mags. I've got a few coming in the mail as we speak. It's got a 10.5-inch barrel with a blast forwarding device or a blast can on the front, which nestles perfectly under this M-LOK handguard, which I really like the look of that. I'd like to do something similar with mine, eventually with a suppressor and a handguard that'll go over it. So I think that is very cool. This one, it looks more like a standard AR upper than the one I'm building. This, the Aero Precision, it's a dedicated 9mm upper, and the last round bolt hold open is actually built into the upper, and you can see it's got a smaller ejection port for 9mm rounds. Well, this one kind of has your standard AR-15 ejection port. Get stern. It's pretty much a standard AR-15 upper, and we'll show you that here in just a second. Obviously dedicated 9mm bolt carrier group. It's running a Leupold Delta Point Pro red dot. I'm going to do a whole video on that red dot because I'm actually really impressed with it. For a pistol red dot, and mind you, this is technically a pistol according to the ATF, but it works very, very good for this AR-9. It's got the SB Tactical PDW brace, which I was thinking of putting on this. I really do like this PDW brace. It's kind of lower profile. You can deploy it very quickly, and it just looks good. But it's also much more expensive than the SBA3, and my build is already getting very expensive as it is, so I had to save a little money where I could. But SP PDW brace, and it's got a purple pistol grip. Let's look at it up a little bit closer. I'm going to show you. It's kind of interesting how they do the last round bolt hold open with this AR9 versus the one that I'm putting together right here. And I just think that engineering is a cool thing, and how these firearms work and how all the parts interact with each other is very cool. So we're going to show that. So when we look at this up close, a lot of 9mm ARs or pistol caliber carbines don't have a last round bolt hold open feature because of the way Glock mags work. And a lot of them use Glock mags. So this is the part of the follower that, pushes up and locks your bolt back or your slide back in a Glock pistol. And the way that the AR-15 is designed is that mechanism is back here, because on a standard AR mag, the back of your follower is what pushes this up to lock your bolt back after the last round. So you can see with the Spikes Tactical lower here, the way it works is that follower comes up and pushes on this bar here, and that's what engages your last round bolt hold open. Whereas you see on the Aero Precision that I'm building here is it's actually built into the upper receiver. So you see that right there, that pushes up on that, and this part is underneath here. And so when your magazine is done, it just pushes out on your bolt release. So two different ways to do the same thing, and it obviously works great with this one. I ran some mags through it today, and every time one of them finished, the bolt did hold open. Other than that, standard mil-spec trigger group, standard pretty much AR-15 kind of build. Obviously, the mag well is smaller to accommodate Glock magazines instead of 5.56 AR-15 Stanag mags. In the upper receiver is pretty much standard, although you do run a 9mm bolt, which obviously does not have locking lugs or anything like a 5.56 or 300 blackout bolt does. 9mm specific. And this is basically, just look at this as if it was the slide on a 9mm pistol. Now it basically does the same thing. You've got your extractor there. That'll pull your round out. It hits the ejector here, comes out your ejection port. This picks up a new round out of the mag, and it just goes straight forward. It doesn't have to lock up because the pressures that you're using in 9mm are not nearly as high as the pressures with a rifle round. And so it can run on a direct blowback type design, which basically means that it just is the pressure on the bolt from firing around is what pushes it back. Now, generally, when you're running direct blowback, you do need a heavier buffer and a heavier spring in order to just have enough pressure on the front of the bolt so that, your gun doesn't blow up in your face, since there's no lockup like there would be with a rifle. When it comes to the brace, this is how you actuate that SB Tactical PDW brace. And other than that, looks like a standard AR-15. You have your safety, your bolt release, bolt hold open, M-LOK handguard, and Leupold Delta Point Pro optic, which we're going to go into in more detail in a video specifically about that optic that should be coming out next Tuesday. Now, the other thing about an AR-9 is same kind of thing with your Glock mags, is they release at the front of the mag instead of the back as well. And so you do have to have a different type of mechanism for your magazine release. And usually it's this hinged kind of mechanism. Every brand does that a little bit differently, but they all kind of do the same thing. So that's the Spikes Tactical one. Here is your Aero Precision. Does the same thing. It just hinges and then releases where it needs to for those Glock magazines. But pretty interesting. I just like the way that they come up with designs to solve these problems to make things work. It's very cool to me. Another difference between this and say like the one I'm building, like I said, kind of standard AR-15 upper receiver. You do have your forward assist button here. On the one I'm building, no forward assist. So it's just interesting to me to see those kinds of differences and how many ways there are to skin a cat, so to say. At the range, ran this thing today, had zero malfunctions. I've seen it out on the range a few other times when I've been out with the owner of this pistol, Kalen, and never seen any issues with it. Seems to run perfectly reliably. Bolt holds open on the last round every single time, and the accuracy with this is very good. One of the advantages you get with a PCC versus just, a standard 9mm handgun is you get a longer barrel. So with a longer barrel, you are going to get higher velocities and better ballistics on target, better terminal ballistics. Now 9mm is designed for shorter barrels anyways, so that difference may not be huge, but it is there. You also get better accuracy because you have multiple points of contact, and so you can just be much more stable. It's a much more stable shooting platform because you have, two hands and a shoulder or a cheek. You also have, an optic, and these optics, although designed for a pistol, they come up perfectly into your field of view when used on a platform such as this, and it just makes it very, very easy to put rounds on target. It's basically like shooting an AR, and an AR is about the easiest thing in the world to shoot. Same thing, but just in a pistol caliber. I think a lot of people think a pistol caliber carbine is pointless, but I disagree. For one, they're a lot of fun to shoot. For two, the ammo is much cheaper than rifle rounds are, so you can practice with your AR, but much more economically, and it still has the same battery of arms, the same feel, the same everything basically as an AR-15, but you're shooting much cheaper ammo. For three, you can shoot steel targets at a closer range, so you can go fast and close up, whereas that's not the safest thing in the world to do with a rifle round, and a rifle round will beat up your steel targets. So you can shoot steel targets up closer with something like this, and if you're going to use it for home defense, you can load it up with hollow points or something that's not going to over penetrate, and it could be a great home defense weapon. Very stable shooting platform, very accurate, but loaded with, a hollow point defensive 9mm ammunition. Those all sound like benefits to me. So whether you're in the PCC camp or not, I do think that there's a place for them, and if I didn't, I wouldn't be building one right now. Although I do believe eventually I'll probably be building an AR in just about every caliber I can. After the 9mm, I'm probably doing a 300 blackout, whether just an upper to go on my pistol lower, or do a whole dedicated 300 blackout build, because I want to start getting into the suppressor game, and suppressor will work great on 9mm. You can get 147 grain subsonic ammo. It also works, as you know, fantastic for 300 blackout. So one of the great things about the AR-15, you can literally build it out in so many different calibers, so many different, you can just customize it in so many ways, including caliber changes, which I think is very cool. Today, we're with the AR-9, and it's been an extremely fun one to use at the range. So even though it's just a direct blowback design, kind of like the one I'm building right now, 9mm is such a soft shooting cartridge that the recoil on this thing is very manageable. easy to shoot. So I'm very glad that I got some experience with this AR-9 today before I get mine finished up. I've got a bunch of parts coming in the mail. They should be here soon. Unfortunately, the barrel that I wanted went out of stock this last week, so I'm waiting for that to come back in stock to be able to finish the build. But it should be done fairly soon, as long as I can find that barrel, and I'll have something, to compare this to it. But I am very excited to have it done, especially after shooting this out there today. It's a really fun platform. You could just shoot it really quickly, really well, really easily. It's very, very lightweight. When I compare the weight of this to, my 5.56 AR pistol, this thing is much, much heavier. And this isn't really a heavy gun, but this is just so light. You can just run it fast and loose. You know what I mean? It's just a very cool gun. Really, really fun gun for the range. And it seems to be really reliable and really accurate. So I've really only got good things to say about it. Want to thank you, Kaylin, again for loaning me this. I had a great time with it today. And just really appreciate, everything you've done to help the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. I also want to invite anyone that hasn't yet to please subscribe. The channel is growing rapidly right now, and that is thanks to every one of you that is subscribed already. So if you haven't, please subscribe, please like, comment. Let me know, do you have an AR-9? What brand is it? Have you built a pistol caliber carbine before? What do you think about them? Do you think there is a point to having a pistol caliber AR or not? Obviously I do, or I wouldn't be building one. They are a heck of a lot of fun to shoot. So leave me those comments. All those things really do help the algorithm and help get these videos out to more people, which helps me grow the channel. And if you want to check out the Patreon down below and join that, that's the easiest way to support the channel. There's also an Amazon affiliate link where I will put links to different AR parts and accessories. But you don't have to buy those parts and accessories. Any regular Amazon shopping you were gonna do, as long as you clicked my link, gives the channel a little kickback, helps out quite a bit. So, love you guys. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.